So, hi everybody and welcome back to the C++ tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 124, and in this video we talk about storage class specifiers, what you can see here. It's a little bit more theory. I will not dive too much into it because this video series is more practical, which means this kind of words which I introduce you here, you should learn them by your own, by looking them online and read more about it to understand it well. And of course, we learn only the basics because this kind of words are referring, of course, to all kind of places, but we are only interested in the basics. So with that said, let's get started. We have something called a storage class specifiers. And before we go on, one more thing, why we need to learn a little bit theory. What I mean with theory is some words that we have to understand, and the reason for that is we will learn something, a new keyword, which is a new keyword, and this one is the preparation for it. This new keyword will ask us to create memory, to delete memory, and something like that, and that's why we need to know more about storage and about linkage. For example, we have here storage duration. We need to know a little bit about linkage, and of course, in combination with that, what the scope is. Scope we have talked a little bit already, but now it's more becomes more important. So let's get into it. So here we have first of all, what are specifiers? Specifiers are just information of the variable. For example, we have here declaration specifier sequence. Declaration, this is decl, means declaration. What a declaration is, we know. For example, a variable declaration. Let's make it first, and then the specifiers we are added in front of this declaration to specify the name. And I make here first an example. So first of all, I want to create, for example, my telephone number. Then you specify, for example, the type. In my case, it's int. This is the one specifier, type specifier. And then I call the variable name, my telephone name, number, not name, number. And I assign it, for example, a random value. So, and you see here, we have specified this name. And that's the specifier. Of course, there are more specifiers, not just int. And this kind of specifiers we will learn here a little bit. For example, this storage class specifiers, which we can add here in front of this int, of this type, for example. All right, so we will skip almost all because the other ones we don't know. We learn here at start only the no specifier, which is interesting. We start without no specifier. Soon we will learn this auto too and the other things, but we know here one more. We know the no specifier. The no specifier means just here in front of int is nothing, and exactly we have nothing here in front. That means this one has not a specifier here. It's called a no specifier. And then we know also the static. We saw this also in our case where we can create a variable, another variable. For example, let me create here static std string my name, and I call it coder. Yeah, and you see now I have here a type specifier, like so. These are the same, a type specifier, and here I have one more specifier, which is this word static, and it is called one of the storage class specifiers. All right, and of course we have now to understand this specifier, so what they are doing or what this one is doing. All right, let's go on and understand this more in a theoretical way. In practical way, we already know how to, what I mean is, in practical way, it's more like how you use it. And you say, okay, when I create this variable in this scope, I know it is local, and that's enough. But in theoretical way, in theory, you have to understand and distinguish this a little bit more in detail, and that's what we are going to do. So let's go and jump into the storage duration and linkage, because this variable here, for example, which I created, or this one, they have a storage duration. What this is, we will see in a moment, and they have a linkage. And we did this intuitively. We use this intuitively, and now we define this only more in theory. And let's jump into, for example, to this storage duration. Here we have the storage duration, and there are actually only 4 kind of storage duration, which means we have automatically, we have a static, the thread and dynamic. This thread and dynamic you can skip, but automatic and static we already know, because this automatic means just when automatic is, for example, this one, when the scope starts. Important is in combination with scope. In this case, the scope is the scope of main. It's here, so it starts from here on top and goes here, and it belongs to main. That's why this scope is local. So we have here a local scope. That's first. The second thing is, it says automatic. What means automatic here? Automatic means here this variable will be created in this scope. Here it starts here, then this variable will be created. But if this variable, if this scope ends here, this variable which was created will be destroyed. Until now we don't care. That was not very important for us till now. And why not so? Because yes, behind the scene this variable will be created. This int is a hint that it will be created with 4 bytes at least, and the compiler will create this 4-byte memory anywhere, and yeah, and then it will assign it this value, and after the scope end it will destroy this memory, and that was all automatically happen, right? And that's good. But automatic storage duration means here that this one will be destroyed automatically behind the scene, and it is in this scope. That's very important, after this scope here. And yeah, that's very important to know, because soon we will learn this new keyword here, dynamic storage duration, and that's why we need to understand this automatically duration. We can soon create our own memory, and then we have to delete it, our own memory, and then we have check what is the scope very carefully. Yeah, and that's here, and more you should read a little bit more on your own. So the keywords which you not keywords, the words which you should understand is this automatic storage duration. In this case, it's all time with this scope. It starts here, it ends here. Then next is the static storage duration. We had also the static word here, for example, static here. We had this in our exercise, and then I said if you write a static, this one will be not destroyed after this end here. For example, our storage starts here with the scope. After this end, bang, storage is gone. I mean, this variable is gone, because automatic storage, the storage duration. This one actually, it's not gone. And that is again a distinguish. It starts also here with this storage, but after it ends here, this variable here, because it has this static keyword, is saved behind the scene. Now this one you have still available. And more in depth, you should read this more in depth in theory, how to understand this. And we will make examples in our codes, but we had already one example. If you did this exercise with I think with our hack exercise where we tried to brute force, there was also this static, and then I tried to explain this a little bit. There was a use case. All right, let's go on a little bit. So important is just that you understand what automatic is, that it means here this one will be destroyed. Static, it will be not destroyed, and soon we will learn this one, which is very important. And then yeah, but that was just the storage duration. I said it's important in combination with that you learn also the linkage. So it has something like a linkage. And what is a linkage? Let's jump into it. At the same time, this variable here, which I created, has a linkage. Linkage means just simple, can you call it from other places or not? For example, this variable, I can call it in this scope, right? I can call it. What I mean with that is, here I call it, for example, my telephone number, and you see, and I can assign a new number to it. For example, I assign 1118, and this works, no problem. I can call it because this one has internal, not internal, no linkage, and that's very strange here. It is called a no linkage here, but no linkage means it is it has only accessibility in the place, in the scope, which is where it is declared. It sounds a little bit strange because it's called no linkage, but yeah, that's the thing. And then we have here another word, which is internal linkage. Internal linkage means here in the whole file, for example, when I declare a variable here on top as the string, and let's call this one here my favorite book, something, and I make here something like super duper story, there, story, something like that. Just write in. So for example, this one here has now global linkage, and this one means this can now call from anywhere. For example, I can call it within this one here, no problem. Here, my favorite book, and then I assign it a new book, anything new what I want, new book, and you see, no problem. And the reason for that one is because this one has now internal linkage. Internal linkage means, let's read it a little bit. The name can be referred from all scopes in the current translation unit. Okay, the translation unit means the CPP file, which means the whole file here, but careful, only this CPP file. If you have here more, it's another translation unit. All right. So, and here you can see I can call this one here, even if this has here a local scope, I can call it. But the other way around, I can't. For example, I try now call this telephone number here, which I declared here, outside. I can't. It will say, no, it's not possible. It's not visible. It has no linkage. So linkage means, so in general, can I call it or can't I call it? Can I use it or not? And of course, read the theory here again a little bit more in depth, and then we will have also external linkage, but this is more for the future. But of course you can read this kind of too. And yeah, the static local variables, and careful about this static word, it can has different meanings. Yeah, so I think I will not go too much into this one now. The only thing what you have really to learn is this no specifier, for example, and what it means, the scope and the storage duration and the linkage, and especially here automatic storage duration, this one, static storage duration. Soon we will learn this one too, but this one is too complicated now, don't go there right now, but just learn this two at start, I would say. And then this linkage here, no linkage, internal linkage, perhaps external linkage as well, if you think you can do this, and then the static local variables. Yeah, I think I stopped this one because, like I said, explaining theory on a online to online video, which is more practical use, yeah, it's not the best thing. You have to really dive self in this and learn this kind of stuff. And one more thing, why we learn this kind of stuff, the reason is because I mentioned it before a little bit, we will learn soon this dynamic storage duration, and it means we will allocate this memory ourselves. Here it's allocated. Allocate means created the memory automatically, And this one, for example, has automatic storage duration, which means this will be also destroyed automatically here after the ending of this scope. And when we learn now this dynamic storage duration, that's not the case. We are saying to C++, create for me specially, allocate means make for me memory special for this variable. And then we have to say to the C++ code here, okay, after I'm finished, I want that you free this place again. Free means here destroy this variable name and make the memory which was used for this variable name again available. And yeah, this kind of stuff. All right. And that's why we need to understand some of these words here. I hope it's not too difficult. And like I said, don't dive too much in all other places, because these words are referred to many places which we have not covered. Just try to combine these words with the things which you know so far, and that's good. That's good to go. Okay, I stop with this and hope you will learn it, because that will become soon very important. And like all time, if you have any complaints or any questions, write it in the comments. See you in the next video. Bye and good luck.